broadcasting network on planet Earth. Not only can you get the Spreaker Studio to where you can do that's right, you can do your own podcast. If you're interested in it, send me an email, radiorobcast@gmail.com, 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 and that's where you can correspond with the show. We're also at Radio Robcast on SoundCloud, at Radio Robcast on Twitter, at Radio Robcast on Instagram, and Robert Cole Zombie in parentheses on Facebook. Okay, so the We Own the Night is, what is it called? Spaced Out Radio with Dave Scott. If you want to hear some UFO stories, Ghost of the Great White North, paranormal suspense, UFO disclosure. They're talking about, anyway, at about the New York Times releasing some sort of article about the government disclosing pictures of aerial threats. And speaking of aerial threats and starting your own podcast or learning how to play the guitar or becoming a motherfucking rocket science, it all starts with scientist. It all starts with you. And it all starts with you doing something that you love to wake up to do every single day. And man, it makes the world a motherfucking better place. So set aside 5 or 10 minutes every single day for yourself to develop that special skill or that special talent that you would like to pursue. And I can tell you, you'll either figure out one or two things. It'll either turn into 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, to where it's taking over your days and starting to pay your bills, or B, you'll realize that it's not for you and you can move on to bigger and better things. So the Spaced Out Radio Show, We Own the Night with David Scott, is the one that I was talking about a little bit in one of the last Robcasts. I have not listened to WTF with Mark Maron, but I did just now put that on my favorites. If you're local to the Houston area and you like the Michael Berry Show, I've got Michael Berry as one of my favorites here, and they do a podcast here on Spreaker that replays their morning show in their afternoon show. And they also do some podcasts. There's some other shorter segments also that are really interesting. So if you like the Michael Berry Show, check it out. Download the Spreaker podcast app. Hannibal Buress, Handsome Rambler is a good podcast. I listened to a couple of episodes of it. Who did I listen to? I listened to Tom Segura on his. Anyway, okay. Jim Brewer podcast. The Doug Stanhope podcast. Guys We Fucked. Is one exactly what it sounds like. It's two girls that they are sitting down there just talking about just that. Your Mom's House with Tom Segura and Christina Pazitsky. The last one that I listened to, it's Tom Segura and his wife, and they had Dr. Drew on, and he's been doing this for a while. So I could probably learn a lot from the Tom Segura. Bert Crusher. And all of you may know a lot more about them than I do, but I've just now started to follow them as far as listening to their podcast. Man, good content. You never know what's going to happen whenever you sit down and hit record. Just like me saying, man, don't get in a big hurry to get to where you're going. other people on the road. I try to I tell my brother this when he's driving. Man, these motherfuckers, they just don't know how to drive. They're not being, they're not trying to insult you, by almost careening into you. They just have no idea what the fuck they're doing behind the wheel. They don't have respect for the 4,000 pound fucking man crushing steel with 300 horsepower. You know what I'm saying? They just don't have a whole lot of respect for that. And and a lot of people shouldn't even fucking have a license. I'll be glad whenever fully autonomous automobiles are taking over the world, self-driving cars. Motherfucking, I'm all for it. I think that it cannot be any worse than it is now with human judgment. What the heck is going on here? Okay, it's my computer's finally kicking in. Trying to keep it cool up in here. A podcast that I listen to on Spreaker Podcast, Star Talk Radio with Neil deGrasse Tyson. That's kind of a cool one. I haven't listened to it yet, but I did favorite it because I have watched the program Star Talk where he interviews peoples, and I have seen him on. I definitely follow him on Twitter. Then we got Bill Burr's Monday Morning Podcast. Well, fucking Bill Burr just sits there and goes off. It's amazing. Download the Spreaker Podcast app. But first, you gotta follow the Robcast, man. Don't leave me hanging, people. So I'm to turn you on to all kinds of cool new fucking shit out here. So you gotta at least show me a little bit of respect. I said the Bertcast, Your Mom's House with Tom Segura. Now, I like Joey Coco Diaz, The Church of What's Happening Now. Oh, there's one of my old podcasts, Robcast Radio AM. Radio Lab is pretty interesting. I like, if you like just, I don't know, I wouldn't really compare it to anything else other than it's more comparative to like a regular radio show, The Adam Carolla Show. The Adam Carolla Show is, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. I'm looking here. He's got, look, Bob Saget, uh, Vinny Tortich. Oh, Vinny Tortorich. My bad. But yeah, I like the Adam Carolla Show. Ooh, and don't forget Celebrity Big Brother is coming out here shortly. So Celebrity Big Brother will definitely have to do the Celebrity Big Brother Robcast. So I might do a little checking and see what's if there's anything new coming up. Have we heard any news of Celebrity Big Brother? If you know and I don't know, you better send me an email. And you can definitely chat while we talk about what's happening with Big Brother. Let's get ready to kick off again. Then we got Smodcast. That's Kevin Smith and Scott Mosier, which, I don't know, Mosier was the producer of most of Kevin Smith's movies, with the exception of, was it Mallrats? Did Mallrats. Did not do Dogma. Oh, then if you like comic books, you have Fat Man on Batman. I like Ralph Garman, and he's an impressionist. And he's been around since I first caught him in the Joe Schmo show. It was a freaking awesome reality show back in the day. But Kevin Smith and Ralph Garman have a podcast called Hollywood Babylon. And Hollywood Babylon is where they basically just sit down and they sit down in a studio full of people, and they people ask questions, they talk about the audience, they sing songs, and Garmin does impressions of like David Bowie and whoever singing Sylvester Stallone. Anyway, it doesn't know justice by me explaining it, other than to tell you to check out Hollywood Babylon. I used to listen to More Stories with Jay Moore, I haven't really been catching that very much anymore, but I always listen to the Joe Rogan Experience. He is the podmaster, one of the podmasters. I guess him and Kevin Smith would be the two OGs in the podcasting world. CannabisRadio.com, the Tommy Chong podcast. Then we also have the Nerdist. And I also like to listen to Rob Has a Podcast. If you like Survivor or Big Brother, he does a podcast on both of those. Rob Has a Podcast. So there you have it. Those are the my top favorites at Spreaker Podcast. So definitely download the Spreaker Podcast app, put it in your phone, put it on your mobile device, follow the show, and we'll let you know what's going on in beautiful Brazoria County, in Texas, in the United States, in the frickin' country, in the world, and beyond, interplanetary, into the galaxy. If you're an alien listening. All right. Where are we at here? Where are we at here, Flip? Well, I'm sitting here thinking, I'm looking up celebrity Big Brother, Celebrity Big Brother USA 2018. But while I'm looking up Celebrity Big Brother 2018, I picked up at the thrift shop the other day at DVD, Almost Famous. Almost Famous. The dog barking. Great. Almost Famous, we know that it was written and directed by Cameron Crowe. I start watching the movie and I say, you know what, I'm going to IMDb this because I saw Mitch Hedberg. That's one of my favorite stand-ups, man. Bless his heart, rest in peace, Mitch. Uh, a great, misunderstood, underrated, and troubled comedian from back in the day, Mitch Hedberg. But back to Almost Famous. Just for a minute about Almost Famous. I don't know if you've seen it. I don't know if you've seen it recently. It's worth another watch. It's a pretty good flick. It has a couple of lulls, if you ask me, but it does have a couple of moments. The Tiny Dancer moment on the bus, when the girls are dancing around him in the room, and it just zooms in on only him. But anyway, what I did not know about Almost Famous was that Cameron Crowe was a writer for the Rolling Stone, and a lot of the stories that we see in that movie are from his real life. That it's a what do they say that, like a docudrama loosely based on Cameron Crowe's life, so that the main character, um, what was his name? Raymond. Was actually based on the lead singer of the Eagles, and the fact that he almost went down in an airplane with a famous band. And I thought that was pretty cool. I did not know that Cameron Crowe, and of course, maybe I just like this movie was based like in 1973, 1974. So that was just a little bit before my time. I wasn't able to like check out the movies and stuff that, I mean, as far as that, but yeah, Almost Famous. I didn't know that it was written. I mean, that it was basically about Cameron Crowe's experiences. CBS. Let's see how old this one is. Celebrity Big Brother 2018 season. Celebrity Big Brother. Yeah. CBS. Okay, this is from the Big Brother Network. CBS is introducing the first ever U.S. edition of Big Brother, Celebrity Edition, following their announcement of the new